I'm Brittney Beadle. I am a very adventurous soul, so I move around a lot and I love going for hikes and just being outdoors and just being in nature, really. So anything that involves being outside is kind of my hobby, like getting onto the lake and being on a paddleboard or swimming in the ocean, whatever it is outside, I'm totally into. My symptoms were I just found a lump in February of 2015 while I was still in high school, and I told my mom about it. And so she actually made me like an ultrasound and a mammogram appointment with the breast specialist. And that's where they confirmed that I did have a mass. But they said, you're 18 and 18-year-olds don't get breast cancer, and then sent me home. And then 3 months later, I had a new symptom. So the lump had grown immensely and it caused my nipple to invert. So at this point, I'm like, okay, something's wrong. So I told my mom again, and that's when I had another ultrasound and another mammogram done. And this time they did the biopsy because I saw the look on her face when she saw that I had an inverted nipple of like worry. So she did the biopsy after that. So I learned that I had to have a double mastectomy the same day I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Straight after being diagnosed, they sent me to a surgeon who then said it will be best to remove both breasts. Since you're so young, we want you to live a long life. And they said that having the mastectomy was the best option. And I feel like I didn't have any time to kind of digest that because then they scheduled my surgery for a week later. So like I felt like there was really no time for me to think about it. I feel like when you have cancer, things move pretty fast. So I was able to make peace with it. Like I felt like my breast had been invaded and I was like, okay, I just want them off now. Like I just wanted to live a long life. So I made peace with that. I was gonna have to lose my breasts at 18 years old. Um, but when I had the mastectomy, it was the day of my senior prom. So like my best friend came to visit me and she was like, her hair was curled. She was in like this beautiful gown. And I was in the hospital in a hospital gown instead of dancing the night away at my senior prom. And when after the surgery, I remember my surgeon unwrapping my chest. And I honestly thought I was going to be okay seeing it. But I remember just feeling disgusted and I almost like threw up when I first saw what I looked like. Because I went from, I was a double D to just flat because I had delayed reconstruction. So all I saw was like bruising and blood, and I had drains out the side of me. So that was like a sight to really that I had to like take in and really realize that I'm gonna have to learn to love my body again after I went through this. Um, the recovery, they had me stay in the hospital for a few days after because I was so young and they just wanted to kind of just look after me and see how everything was going to be. I had my mom and my partner at the time, they would like sleep in the hospital with me and like help me get up and walk. I remember like I had a bunch of nurses behind me and like everyone was like parading around me while I made laps around the hospital, like as I walked for the first time after my surgery. It was really nice. And I just had the most incredible team of doctors and nurses who took care of me during my surgery. And then they gave me a PET scan about a month later. And then that's when we found out that I wasn't in early stage. I was actually already metastatic. So I was already stage 4. And I was set to be graduating high school in a week. So I was like, I am supposed to be starting my life, but I'm being told it might end. So I really had to like dig deep within me and just kind of I had this like strong knowingness that it was going to be okay no matter what. So I had to learn to trust that strong knowingness that I had inside rather than the fear that I was feeling at the moment. It was crazy because my oncologist wouldn't answer any of my calls. So like I was just like calling her trying to figure out what my results were because like I thought they were going to be okay because everyone kept telling me like you're going to be fine, you're cancer free now. So I honestly thought my scan results were going to be good. And so, but I just kept calling anyways because I wanted that confirmation. But she had set up an appointment with someone in New York, like another oncologist, because she said I was so young. She wanted a second opinion for me to make sure she was putting me on the right treatment. So I went to that appointment with my mom, my grandfather, my partner at the time, my dad, like everyone came with me. And we were all expecting good news. But so this doctor walked in who I was meeting for the first time, and she sat down, and I just like leaned across the desk, and I'm just like, so how are my results? And then she like looked at me with this concerned look, and she like pushed a folder towards me and like opened it and said, you don't know? And I'm like, no, what? And she's like, there were spots. And that's when she started telling me that the cancer had spread all throughout my bones and in my liver, and that this was, I asked her, so what do I do? Do I do chemo and then I'm good? And that's when she said, it's treatable, but, or yeah, it's not curable, but it's treatable, and I'll have to live with this for the rest of my life. And that's truly when I lost it and just like ran out of the room and just let my like family kind of handle the appointment for me. When I came back into the hospital after like going out to the garden and just like crying, thinking my life was over, she made sure to tell me that she had patients alive and doing well since the 90s with this same disease, and that the future was bright and that there was treatments coming out more and more like every day. So I feel like because she told me that, I had such a strong mindset throughout my journey because of that. So I felt like I was able to handle what I was going through a little better because she gave me hope so early on. So I had to do scans I'm still doing scans every like 3 to 4 months. And I get treatment every 21 days. And I've been getting treatment every 21 days for the past 8 years now. Yeah, so I'm on a new treatment called Enhertu, and it's a tough treatment, but like it's literally like a miracle treatment for a lot of people. It's really helping to extend their lives and help their body heal from cancer. There's been a lot of different side effects depending on the treatments that I've been on, but the most ones that really were harsh on me was the nausea and vomiting. The one I'm currently on now actually causes a lot of nausea and vomiting. And I learned that it's okay to take the nausea meds. There's been a time where like I just didn't want to take it. So I was like, no, it's an extra medicine. I just don't want to take it. And so I would suffer, and there was no reason for me to suffer when I can just take the nausea med to just help me feel better. So that's been something I learned along the way, to take it as well as like ginger chews, and just like there's a bunch of things you can do to help with the side effects. Another big one that I struggled with throughout the years, and again, mostly right now for my current treatment, is fatigue. So right now, I'm literally in bed for 10 out of 21 days with fatigue. And it sounds weird, but I swear getting up and taking a walk truly helps with the fatigue, as well as like resting. Like there are some days where you just need to lay in bed and rest. Like, please do that. Like, that took me a long time to realize too, that it's okay to rest. Like, you can be living a great life on your couch. Like, that's great too. But then also when I start getting towards the end of like that 10th day or whatever, like getting up and walking truly gives me more energy somehow, and just makes me feel good emotionally, mentally, and that helps me a lot. Over the years, I've had a lot of progression. I went through this loop of having no evidence of disease to progression. So over the years, it was in my bones, my liver, my brain, and mostly recently, a year and a half ago, my lungs. But currently, right now, my brain has been clear for 4.5 years, which is amazing. My liver is clear. My bones are having regression, and my lungs are having regression. My most recent scan, like this past year, I kept having like more and more progression. And then this last scan showed that it's actually getting better. I used to experience a lot of skin anxiety in the beginning, which is totally normal. Like every 3 months, you're taking a peek in your body to see if the cancer is regressed, stable, or is it growing? Which, if it's growing, it's going to kind of send you on a whole different path, right? And that used to really scare me. Like, but now I've realized that it's truly a blessing to have these scans, because it's going to put you on a new path. So if for some reason what you're doing right now isn't working, it's going to put you on a new path for healing. So now I view it from like a miracle standpoint. Like, how awesome is it that we get to take a peek into our bodies? Like, incredible. So when I first learned that I had progression to my lungs and needed to switch my treatments, I was actually pretty resistant to it when I learned all the side effects. And my oncologist told me I was going to lose my hair again because it was so new. So a lot of people were losing their hair. So that's kind of what they knew of it. And I was really resistant. And I actually waited a few months before starting it because I was just so scared of it. But I started it and I decided to go into it with a love mindset instead of like a fear mindset. So I was like, okay, like this is going to help me heal. So I viewed it from a loving point. So every time I get it, I literally like meditate through it and just visualize it healing my body. And it's an infusion that I receive every 21 days. So it's like I am down for about 10 of those days, and then I start regaining my energy again, and I start feeling like myself again, and then I have treatment again, and then it's kind of like a recycle I repeat. But it's truly like a lot of my friends are on it too, and it's truly helping them so much heal their cancer and make it either like no evidence of disease at all or just regression in their body, which is what we want when you're living with a stage 4 diagnosis. Okay, this treatment is hard, but it's going to be a temporary treatment until I find something even better, So thinking of it that way keeps me going of all the wonderful possibilities that could be in my future. Like, this isn't my forever. This is my for now. So I just need to take it one step at a day and get through it for a brighter future. So I definitely learned to advocate for yourself throughout this and make sure that you are saying all your concerns, asking all your questions. And if your doctor, like if your team of doctors isn't listening to you, it's okay to find a new team of doctors who are going to better support you, because not every doctor is going to be for you, and that's okay. For me personally, I love a team of doctors who are going to, of course, tell me what I need to know, but then end every conversation with a little bit of hope. Because like we truly cling on to what the doctors say to us. So when they're just saying scary things to us and that's it, we're going to cling on to that and almost accept that for ourselves. I moved a bunch of different times and I do a lot of research, like just looking for an oncologist. I read their bio, see if they seem like they're a good fit for me, and even interviewing doctors because they're working for you. They have your life in their hands. And so you need to make sure that they are aligned with your values and your beliefs and what you want for yourself. So I am all about interviewing doctors and making sure they're your right fit for you. I think my number one support system, obviously besides my friends and my family, because I am blessed with like the most amazing people in my life. But honestly, the Instagram community, I remember I felt so alone in the beginning because I didn't know anyone my age going through breast cancer. And then I think one day, like I typed in breast cancer and then found this whole Instagram community. And I honestly feel like that's what helped me get through everything, was finding this community on there. And I was able to ask them questions and they were there for me when I needed them. And it's just a loving community. Living with a stage 4 diagnosis, it definitely has a lot of up and downs. I've been at my lowest points where like I feel like I'm stuck and it's never going to get better, which was never true. I always got through those points in my life where I thought that I couldn't. And I am truly living a life better than I could have even imagined, even with cancer. Like, I am traveling, I am doing everything my little heart desires. And I think that's a misconception with cancer. Like, some people think like, oh, you have cancer, your life is over, but that's not true. Like, my life began after I had cancer and I was still able to do everything that I wanted to. And of course, I had to pivot a lot of times because cancer did take some things away from me, but I just pivoted and then found a new path for myself, a beautiful path. So living with stage 4 is hard, but it's still beautiful.